it was completely by accident that I discovered this sauce that I invented. So I had horsey sauce, and I had my balsamic vinegar, which this is my number one staple is maple. It's maple balsamic vinegar. And I swiped a piece of steak through it unknowingly. And when it hit my mouth, it was like I was awake for the first time.
Makes all the sense in the world to me.
Amber thought I was crazy, but now I do like... No.
All right, airheads, welcome back. It's time. Let's do it. Putting on airs, Trae, Cho, Virtual Airstream Studios, doing the thing. I want to start with a totally apropos of nothing, just a little fun fact sort of slash quiz for you, Cho. You remember snap bracelets?
Oh, I was just talking about them. Oh, me and you were talking about them yesterday.
Were we?
Yeah, we were talking about how phones on Well Read when we were talking about the new phones and stuff, and I mentioned that there's one like a slap bracelet that you. So we didn't talk about them, but I mentioned
they came up. Yes.
Yeah, they came up. I love slap bracelets, man.
Right, slap.
You ever hit your weenie with them?
All the rage. No, but that's a good idea though.
It's awesome. It feels
boner,
neat.
Slap it. Yeah. Who don't like slapping their boner? But yeah, that was one of those things. That's nothing that's, I don't know. We might have kind of I think we have talked about this before. I think it was one of my early topics, like fads or whatever, like things that but the idea that like right now, Labubu's, just some random thing that captures the fascination of the nation, if not the globe, and the amount of money you can make from that. And it's like going viral. It means nothing. Yeah. What's up?
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't raising my hand. So I have a new camera. And it auto tracks. Okay. And the way that you turn that off is to raise your hand. And unfortunately, I'm so sorry this is happening, but unfortunately, I'm a very animated talker. So while I was talking, I accidentally had done that, and it started following me around, and it was going to be distracting, just like this is. It clearly was.
I thought you were telling me like, hey, wrap this up because I got to do
something. No, hell no. I'm so sorry that happened. Burns, you can cut it.
Issue. But anyway, fads. Yeah, that's another thing that fascinates me. No rhyme or reason to it. It's like going viral or what goes viral. But slap bracelets were one of those things in our like early childhood. And I'm about to either make you go, wow, huh? Or make you and everyone listening be like, Jesus Christ, Trae is a real fucking dumbass. Because do you know, have you ever thought about / do you know what those are made out of?
No, I've never thought about it, but hold on. Let me, wow.
See, I never thought about it either, to be fair. I don't know if I would have come up with the answer if someone asked me the question. I don't know or not, because I found out without thinking about it. I just stumbled across the answer.
I mean, I just always assumed it was some sort of insane plastic, and I never, with things like that, I sort of just, I should go with God.
With them and don't think about it. Right. Yeah.
Right.
No,
exactly.
Me too. Again, I never thought about it either. Like I never thought about, I wonder what's in these, and failed to come up with it. It never crossed my mind. But when I learned it, I was like, I'll be damned. And I'm just wondering if that's a common response to this
seahorse, the exoskeleton of a seahorse.
It ain't that I'll be damned, but it is one of those things like when I tell you, you're going to be like, that fucking makes complete sense.
Right.
I'm not saying literally all of them, but for the most part, pretty much all they are. What?
Roly-poly skin.
Oh, the bugs. Yeah. Roly-poly exoskeleton.
Yeah.
Harvested fastidiously by Thai slave workers.
Yeah.
In the late 80s. Yeah. They farm bugs. People do farm bugs. That's why
they do. But why?
A bunch of reasons. Apparently, so people are gonna be like, Jesus Christ, please don't divert and not answer this question for 30 minutes. So for the most part, pretty much any slap bracelet is just a fabric with a design on it that's like either sewed on top of or like painted over or whatever, wrapped over measuring tape. Yeah, measuring tape. Right, exactly.
Duh!
It's just and I don't mean, I'm pulling this part is from Reddit where people were like, they said, I'm not saying, I don't mean it's the same material.
Right. It just is measuring tape.
Literally, it's just, they
like if
took
you cut it
measuring
open,
tape, right, and cut it in that shape and like put a design on it or whatever. And that's literally all that is. And like now that you know that, exactly, I'll be damned. I thought the same thing.
You're right, and like, duh.
Exactly. I know it's one of those things. It's like you go like, holy shit, really? And then you think about it, and you're like, well, yeah, that fucking
Some dude was just fucking stoned with his measuring tape after a long day working construction, and he did that with the thing, and he was like, fucking paint it orange and let's sell these bitches, and he did. Mm-hmm. Although I don't know how. That's one of those things where, like, I'm sure that guy. I mean, unless because you can't patent that because it's already patented. You know, it's already a thing, right? So he had to have like hit one initial lick, and then once everybody found out that that's what he was doing, they're like, well, we're not buying them from him. We'll just make our fucking own, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how any of those. Man, we were talking about something recently where somebody came up with something and then they started getting scooped by China, like counterfeiters or whatever, and they couldn't. And then, you know, there's not much you could do about that, which sucks if you're someone that I mean, again, back to Labubu's, but that's what Labubu is one of those things though, that like people care about the provenance of it.
Do.
So it's like,
which is dumb.
So it's like getting a fake Gucci bag from a street vendor. It's like,
it's fine, but
it won't hold up to scrutiny for somebody that cares.
Of course.
I remember what it was. It was the New Year's Eve number glasses.
Yes, the 2000.
And so like that, no one cared. No one's like, is that an authentic original issue? Right. You know, like no one. So that if you make something like that or slap bracelets, you could really get fucked by people just deciding that they can sell it for cheaper than you and just started, just doing it.
I know that China, we've talked about this with Labubu's and like several other things. Like China just doesn't respect international, like there's no international copyright law that affects them. Like, is that true of like all countries and China's just a dick about it? Or is it specific to China that it's like, no, we got like a bubble around us and we can just do whatever the fuck we want?
I'm certain it's not specific to China, but I think the reason China probably gets brought up the most is because China is also a massive country with a huge economy. So like if somebody takes your copyright or patent or something in China, they can like make an insane amount of money from it that you feel like you're missing out on or whatever. And they're like, fuck you, I don't care. And I think in a lot of developed countries, you probably have some legal recourse, but I think in a lot of other, and China's not underdeveloped anymore, but like in underdeveloped countries, you just like either don't find out or don't even care as much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Two things about that we've talked about before, but not on here, I don't think. One, that if people are longtime fans of mine have definitely heard this story, but like pretty wild. When Bishop was about a little over a year old, so he could walk, he was toddling around, but he was like still a baby, like an ambulatory baby.
Yeah, how baby.
Katie at that point in time, and it's weird because Katie's not generally prone to hippy dippydom, but at that point in time, she had gotten into cloth diapers.
When you first have a baby, you do some shit that you can't believe you did, and then you quit it.
And Katie, being legitimately incredibly crafty, she started making our own cloth that she like sewed our kids' cloth diapers like at home, and she'd put designs on them and stuff. She started posting them on Facebook. She actually then started a miniature cloth diaper business where she was selling them to people. And
of course she did.
Yeah, it's very, very her. She did the same thing during the pandemic with a COVID mask because she's a sheep. But anyway.
Yeah, I have some of those. They're my favorite ones. They don't work. Like they're not effective.
No,
they're actually the worst ones you can get.
Yeah, right. Not
they
effective.
Have COVID in them, I think.
Right.
Like in the fibers. But they look cool.
They do look cool. And again, none of those masks did anything to begin with. Am I right? So you might as well wear one that looks cool. But anyway, at this point in time, though, it was cloth diapers for her. And she, I can't remember if she did it or she had her friend do it. It was a photographer or what, but she did a little baby photo shoot with Bishop wearing the cloth diapers that Katie had sewn for him because she was, selling them on Etsy or the equivalent at the time.
Like a little Mowgli.
So she had these like, professional quality pictures made of Bishop wearing these cloth diapers that Katie made.
Right.
And she posted them on her Facebook, and like months later, because from doing that, she was in a cloth diaper group on Facebook.
I'd love to snipe the comments on that piece of shit.
Right. But somebody one day, not directed at Katie, didn't know or whatever, was like, hey, here's the deal. I've discovered you can get cloth diapers infinitely cheaper if you order straight from China, which is like true of literally everything.
Right.
And so they were just like, so heads up, you can get much cheaper cloth diapers in China. Here's the brand that I like. Here's the Chinese website for the brand. And she linked to the Chinese website for this Chinese cloth diaper company. And the fucking banner on their like homepage and the thumbnail of the link was my baby. They had turned Bishop into like their Gerber baby or whatever. Like he was he was but yeah, they put a little white baby as in all their like marketing for the cloth diapers in this Chinese cloth diaper company. And Katie just this lady posted it just saying like, hey, you can get some good deals here. And Katie was like, that's my baby, you know? And she sent it to me and I was like, that is our baby, you know?
That's crazy.
It's super. And I remember I sent it to Drew.
It's not crazy that they did it. It's crazy that was the woman's example, you know?
Right. But I sent it to Drew and I was like, dude, is there like anything I can do about that? And Drew, who's, you know, a lawyer, immediately was like, China? He's like, no. He's like, absolutely not. He's like, just forget you ever saw it and go on with your life because there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about that. And I was like, okay, fine. But yeah, Bishop, hopefully be a fun fact for him when he's older, is like he was a Chinese cloth diaper Gerber baby for a point in time when he was, you know, a year old or whatever.
Obviously, I know Drew was like the only lawyer you had his number, but like, have you like recently considered that you took advice from someone whom all of his clients are rotting in prison right now? Like maybe, maybe he didn't know. No, I'm kidding.
But the second story that on that topic was, and I feel bad because I can't remember the guy's name. Do you remember his name? He's an American comedian who moved to China, and he does like he puts together comedy shows in China for American comedians to come through and do shows in that
documentary.
His name starts with it's either like Turner or Taylor or Tucker.
He was
or
in that documentary
like
with Segura and Pete Lee, right?
Maybe. Was he?
I think he was. I think he was the one that helped them get over there.
He also very, very, very early on and very randomly, because none of us knew him, he did the Well Read podcast.
That's right.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's right. It was him and Kurt Metzger. Kurt Metzger. Yeah. And that episode was very terrible because of the audio quality. I remember that.
Right. That was so early on that we still didn't know how to do the audio quality right.
Still barely do.
But that guy's story was fascinating. Do you remember it?
I remember there being a Chinese element to it.
So this guy's, and again, I feel bad because I can't remember his name, but it's something with a T that ends with an ER.
You don't remember us either.
An ER sound. Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, like Taylor, Tanner, Tucker, Tyler, something like that.
It was Tucker.
But, is it Tucker? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, good dude, funny guy, all that shit. But I don't remember if he married a Chinese woman or what, but he's a white American who ends up in China. And he's also a stand-up comedian. So we, on our show, initially were talking to him about, you know, you book all these shows, comedy shows in China for American comedians. That's fascinating. What's that about? Like, that's what we were talking to him about.
Right.
But then it came up. We found out that another thing that happened while he lived in China as a comedian, booking these shows and stuff, he realized one day, it just occurred to him, which I feel like this is a very Cho type realization.
Yeah.
He realized one day, he was like, there ain't one single ice cream truck in this entire country.
Yes.
And he like looked into it, and sure enough, like China was completely unfamiliar with the concept of ice cream.
That's crazy
trucks,
to me.
right? And so he was like, well, this is an opportunity. So he gets like a refrigerated truck or whatever and gets his first like makes an ice cream truck in China. It goes over like gangbusters from day one, because of course it fucking does. He ends up pretty quickly with like a fleet of ice cream trucks, his own ice cream truck company in China. And it was crushing. This is like in less than a year. He's got them in all these different Chinese cities. Like I said, a fleet of trucks, fucking, you know, rocking hard with that. And then one day, and I don't remember if they called him or literally showed up, but the Chinese government just showed up and was like, hey,
no,
that's ours. We taking that, like all of it. Like we're not giving you a payout. We're not letting you stay involved. Like we're not taking ownership, but you can keep working there, or like we're taking that from you. Thank you for doing all the legwork. Now go fuck yourself. And and there was literally nothing he can do about it.
But there's no fuck no, dude. Like,
especially as an outsider. I think
exactly.
Right, I think maybe if you're a native
that's
Chinese,
probably why they did it.
Of course. Well, it's definitely Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a factor for sure. I think if you're like a native Chinese who's like from a connected family or something, they probably won't fuck with you like that unless
that's everywhere.
Unless you make problems for them.
Right.
But as a foreigner over there, it's just easy pickings. It's like
it's fine to say fuck the Chinese government, correct?
Yeah, at least to me, it is.
I say fuck them all. Fuck all the governments is a fine stance.
Seems like almost all governments seem not to hit to me.
Right.
But dude, and he was super cool. He was just a very like say la vie type of attitude about it. Well, for me, I know there's nothing you can do, but the way I am, I just think I'd stew on that for the rest of my fucking life. I really do. Like I don't think I would ever get over that happening.
That's because that guy was way different than me and you. Like, me and you might only have two good ideas in our whole life. You know what I mean? Like, I think he seemed like very much like on to the next thing, and then he hit with something, which we are incapable of doing.
He definitely was one of those types of people. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, let's talk about an interest I have that people are often surprised to hear on account of how I look. And that's
I think you look good.
Lifting and working out and fitness and that type of thing. I married a personal trainer, and then I immediately impregnated her, and she had to give that up. But that'll happen. She still knows fitness stuff. I've always been into it. I just, I can't quit the cheese, baby. But that's a whole other story. That ain't what we're talking about today. I work out literally every day that I'm not traveling from one city to another, and I've delved into the world of sups, bro. Supplements. There's a ton of sups out there. They have been for years, and you always wonder which of these work, which of them don't. There's one supplement in particular, though, that has absolutely stood the test of time, and that's for a reason. It wouldn't have stuck around this long if it wasn't legit, and I'm talking about the one and the only creatine, dog. You can get some gains. You could swell up in a good way. First time I ever took creatine, I was in my late 20s. I couldn't believe how much my strength improved, and just my general, like, the way I felt every day.
Clean energy.
Good, clean energy. It really does work. And I'm not talking about just any creatine. No, I'm talking about the best of the best in creatine, and that's from this week's sponsor, Momentous. All right. Creatine is not just for building muscle, in case that's what you thought. They've also found that creatine is a daily essential for a lot of things. Like Joe just alluded to, your strength, but also your focus. It can help in recovery when you're getting older. That's all too important. And even your cognitive performance can be improved with creatine.
And for those people that don't know, cognitive is that's
brain stuff.
Okay, because some people might not know that.
Brain stuff performance can even be improved with creatine. It does it all, baby. The Wonder Sup, that's what I call it. And now Momentous is making your daily creatine routine even easier with their new creatine chews, which are bite-sized lemon lime chews that make consistency effortless. You just chew on the go. This is a brand new product. They're in the mail right now to me and Cho. And so I can't wait to try them. I've taken Momentous's other creatine, and I know it works, but I haven't had this tasty little sour candy variety, which seems like they built it in a lab to hit for me.
I know, right?
Each of these chews delivers exactly 1 gram of CreaPure creatine monohydrate, which is the gold standard, single source from Germany, and NSF certified for sport, which means it's independently tested for purity, safety, and label accuracy. This is trusted by Olympic athletes, pro sports teams, and elite military operators. Momentous spent years testing until they created the first chewable that actually meets the Momentous standard: uncompromising science, meticulous sourcing, and real transparency. There are no artificial sweeteners. There are no fillers, just science-backed, clinically proven performance in a portable, craveable format. So whether you're training, working, or traveling, I do all three. This is performance without pause, made to support your body and your brain every single day. And unlike generic brands, Momentous doesn't follow trends. They perfect the fundamentals, which is where real progress happens, just so you know. This is creatine done right. And we got a lot of lady listeners out there. You might be listening to this thinking like, this is some bro-y stuff here. No, it's not true, actually. Creatine is actually arguably more essential for women because women naturally store about 70 to 80% less creatine creatine through their natural processes in their body than men do, which means consistent supplementation can have an even larger impact on your energy, recovery, and focus. And if my lovely fitness professional wife was out here right now, I'm sure she would back me up on that. Momentous doesn't follow trends. They perfect the fundamentals, and this is chewable creatine done right. And right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first order with the promo code POA. And listen, I just want to point out, by the way, I said I hadn't gotten these chewables yet. Momentous has a ton of incredible options on their website. They said, tell us whatever you want. And I felt bad about the list I put together. I was like, this is pushing it to ask these people.
I did too.
To send me this amount of things, and they didn't hesitate. They just sent them all to it. I've been taking them all, but they got brain stuff, sups, they got protein, they got creatine, they got like literally any kind of sup you could imagine on there, in addition to the new creatine chewables. So go to livemomentous.com and use the promo code POA for up to 35% off on your first order. That's Live Momentous, LIVEMOMENTOUS, livemomentous.com. Use the promo code POA and you can get up to 35% off your first order. Momentous, make yourself hit harder.
Yeah. Hey, I got a little thing, and it's going to seem like a plug, and it kind of is, but I thought it was humorous. HarperCollins sent us today that they had added us to their Spotify for Authors thing. So I accepted it, and I was like, oh, obviously our book, Round Here and Over Yonder, is available on Spotify, but I've never gone over there to check it out. And obviously all 5-star reviews, that's one thing. But I decided to click the more like this option to see what they're comparing our book to, which used to always be funny on like, whenever you do it with our podcast, it's always like, even though our podcast couldn't be further from this, they just see us. I think the algorithm does a Google search of what we're all about. And then it's just like, if you like this, you'll also love 2 lesbians fermenting tea with their pussy yeast or whatever,
On the other end of that spectrum, early on in my online career as the liberal redneck, even though liberal was in the name, I think early versions of the algorithm, redneck was in it. People would send me screenshots where they were on YouTube watching my videos, and YouTube's like, if you like this guy, you might also like Run N-Word Run by David Allen Coe.
Or by the way,
just the crazy,
I like racist you both.
Shit. And it's funny because it's like, I guess that's how much more heft the word redneck had than liberal, at least at that point in time. But yeah, anyway, so we've run the gamut at this point.
So I'll give you like and obviously these more like this, they're all going to be audiobooks. You want to take any type of guess to what they've done here? What you think we're compared to?
Audiobooks. I don't know. The Life and Times of Kid Rock.
No, but one of them we got.
Travels, something. I'm trying to think of
there's really there's no travel thing on here. I like all of them though.
Okay,
I do. I like all of them. I don't know how they got this from us, but it hits for me. One of them is Brain Droppings, the famous George Carlin book, which I suggest anybody. So that rules. Then a very POA level thing here, Making It So, a memoir by Sir Patrick Stewart, which I think is neat. Okay. Also, one of both of our favorites, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
All-timer, dude.
Then, if the algorithm got this from what I think they might have, this is a great pull. Share Part 1, the memoir, right? So Share, that's not bad. And then, of course, like The Way I Heard It by Mike Rowe, which super hits, and I'd Like to Play Alone by Tom Segura. So like and then of course there's a couple like vampires getting their butts railed down here at the bottom. But I assume it's sorted.
I mean, we are to be fair to the algorithms or the AI or whatever they use to do that stuff, we are definitely kind of hard to pin down. And it's like you can kind of see them attempting. I say them again. I'm sure it's a robot doing it, but like the confusion the robot is under, because I'm sure somehow it knows, it's identified, it's in our bios or whatever. Like we're comedians, so there's like comedian shit. And and then there's it's a real life travelogue, not a scripted one, but like Hitchhiker's Guide. And also we're in the UK, so there's like a UK element. So like Patrick Stewart, Hitchhiker's Guide of the Galaxy is all. So it's like you can kind of start to piece it together. But yeah, there's definitely probably more flattering than we earned. But I like.
What about Cher? Where do you think that came from?
Gay. Gay. That's what I was going to say. Obviously, gay.
Yeah.
We're gay coded, I think, and always will be. Probably.
Eddie Izzard. Believe Me, a memoir of love, death, and jazz chickens. Mm-hmm. I got to read that.
Jazz chickens, yeah.
Yeah, that's his book title, A Memoir of Love, Death, and Jazz Chickens. I got to check that out.
That again, I'm flattered. It's normally AI. I remember when ChatGPT was a brand new thing. Me and Mark was helping me with something. I think it was like I was doing another Al Gore show or something. So I had Mark over trying to help me write some shit for it. And ChatGPT was brand new, and somehow it got brought up. We were going to like make a joke about it or something, but in the process of that, for the very first time, I wrote in like, let's check this thing out, and I typed into ChatGPT, tell me a joke in the style of Trae Crowder, right? And it said, why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the equal rights protest, y'all.
Because someone called it a queer.
And I wanted to fucking kill myself, But, but it was like,
I don't know if you remember, but that prompted me to be like, well, I got to see what it does for me, for Corey Ryan Forrester. And it was just, which I think you pointed out at the time, it's like, man, they got you pegged. It was just unintelligible bullshit. It was something like, why did the chicken cross the road? So he could go get his beer helmet and be fat over somewhere else like a goddamn idiot or something. It's like, damn, they didn't even try, but they got me.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like if you asked it, what is Trae Crowder or what is Corey Forrester, it would be like, this person is a professional comedian or whatever. But the idea that you say, write me a joke in the style of this, what you have acknowledged as a professional comedian, and it comes out with a why did the chicken cross the road joke, like literally no comedian ever
would ever do it. Yeah. I'm sure it's way better now.
Never done any kind of chicken crossing the road joke.
Well, Norm.
You're right. That was very early on.
Yeah.
Right.
You were talking about trends earlier and like the what's them? The gabagools, Labubu's. Yeah, and I actually had one little thing on fads because I'd been thinking of ever since we had that Labubu conversation. I'd been thinking about things that like just don't have a big shelf life, and how, like I mentioned to y'all the other day, I was like, and again, before I say this and everybody starts freaking out, I'm aware that Chili Crisp has been like Mamaw Chinese people were making that, and then it's Americanized because of that David Yang. Is that his name? That David Yang, that the chef. You know who I'm talking about?
I do know who you're talking about, and we
That's
both seem
a
little mildly casually racist right now, probably by having, because I do know exactly who you're talking about, and that sounds right to me. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That fucking guy. And
it's
I
something
like
that.
Whatever. If somebody called me Smith, I wouldn't give a shit. So anyways, he like started doing his own chili crisp. And then I think he patented or copyrighted the term chili crisp. My point is, it's very much a new hot trend, sort of like hot honey over here. And normally that shit, like, I stay away from it. But again, dude, this is just chilies that they've, let sit in oil and they put crispy stuff in it. It's fire. It's awesome. It's my new, like, I use it the same way a lot of people use ketchup. Like that shit, I put it on everything. It's awesome.
That stuff does hit. It's David Chang, by the way.
David Chang. Okay. Yeah. All right. At least it rhymed.
Sure.
It rhymed.
You got the white part right. You nailed that part. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but I was just thinking about, stuff like that, like just trendy stuff and, thinking about the ones that last or whatever. And then like, while I was looking up some stuff, I guess my algorithm knew what I was doing, and it showed me this like Tyra Banks opens new ice cream shop in Australia, but there's a twist, right? And I'm like, okay, fucking Tyra Banks, whatever. So I guess I don't know if I think like Tyra Banks is just like doing this because she's bored, because she wants a new income stream, or because she's finally spent all her, because you can't be a model no more if you're old. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what they be doing.
Well,
right?
I mean, Tyra Banks in particular, long ago transitioned into like
talk show host,
near moguldom. I think,
of course,
yeah, like
of course.
she had America's Next Top Model and all that shit, and their own talk show, and I'm sure tons of brands and stuff. So
right, but her thing, the twist to this ice cream is that it's hot ice cream. Right.
Okay. Hot as in spicy or
That's
hot?
what I thought. I was like, because again, I'm in that chili. And by the way, I've put chili crisp, not too much of it, but a little bit on some vanilla ice cream. Oh, dude, it's awesome. Because I like sweet and heat, like to me, that's the flavor profile of barbecue for the most part is like
I can get down with sweet and heat. I don't know how I personally would feel about sweet, heat, cold.
Yeah, I hear you, but
I don't think I've ever done that.
We'll try.
I'd have to try it and see what I think.
I need you to get chili crisp anyways, and I know you keep ice cream
I've had
on.
chili. I've had chili crisp before.
Well, just put a little scoop of ice cream down there, hit it with a chili crisp, and try it out. I'm not saying it'll be your favorite thing, and because I'm weird with I like balsamic vinegar on my ice cream. I do like a little some wild, not all the time. Now, not all the time. It's a thing I'll do to I'm being fat, but I'm being fancy fat. So that's
Dude, who
different.
came up with balsamic vinegar? Was it the French, the Italians? Whoever did that, they really knocked that shit out of the park.
Boy, didn't they?
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't either. Ambrosia. I'll tell you that much. That shit slaps, bro.
So are you looking it up? Because I'm going to give my
looking it up. Balsamic vinegar.
Here's what I'm going to say. It is vinegar that they've added sugars to, and it sat and then became, because the longer you have it, the more syrupy it becomes. Obviously, because you want to go ahead and buy it a little aged. But for me, I buy big bottles and just let them sit there for a long time because it's going to hit harder.
Makes all the sense in the world. Apparently, it dates back all the way to ancient Rome. That's fun. So it is the Italians, it is the spaghetti people, but before they even had spaghetti. And again, makes all the sense in the world. Apparently, balsamic vinegar, basically, or at least originally, is vinegar made from grapes, grape shit. So grape vinegar, pretty much, which they was, making wine and other shit with, they was doing a lot of stuff with grapes at the time, which I appreciate. But
remind me to get back to Tyra Banks hot ice cream. But on that note,
I definitely want to hear.
Yeah, I have to, but I have to stay on vinegar for just a minute because number one, we have a balsamic vinegar place that you go in there and you can have. They let you they've got 500 different of these things. Yeah, in Chattanooga, and this dude that
fully dedicated to balsamic vinegars,
balsamic and oils, balsamic vinegar, oil, and they're all infused, right? Okay. And then
the oil thing I've seen that. So,
but it's I think it honestly there's more. It's probably about half and half, and also dry blends to put in your oil for bread. Right. It's basically It's hey, do you want your bread? Do you want your starters to hit? Because here's the spot, and it's if you go
up to wine country, a lot of those big vineyards up there, because they have their grapes for wine, but they'll also have olives because again, it goes back to spaghetti people shit, and that part of California emulates the climate of Italy, spaghetti land. So they'll do olives too. So a lot of those wineries will have that what you just described, olive oil and Italian spices and vinegar, balsamic vinegars and shit in a store at the front of the winery.
Well, dude, when I start running low on my balsamic vinegar and my infused oils, I start vibrating because of how excited I am that I get to go. And I've got my staples that's I always get these, but then I get a new hotness, the last time I got a white vinaigrette that was a cucumber lime. Oh, you talk about a salad dressing like you've never, because that's fresh, dude. So fresh. And when you go in there, they have shot glasses by all of these drums, so you can sit there and just sample all. And dude, I put them back like they're fucking oyster shooters, dude. I love it. I came up with this not long ago, and I've been dying to tell you about it. And I think this is actually a pretty good example of what this show is. This is where trash meets class. It was completely by accident that I discovered this sauce that I invented because I made a caprese salad. And it was on the same plate as I had prime rib. So I had horsey sauce. I had horsey sauce and I had my balsamic vinegar, which this is my number one staple is maple. It's maple balsamic vinegar. Okay. And some of the maple vinegar went over and just sort of kissed the horsey sauce, right? And I swiped a piece of steak through it unknowingly. And when it hit my mouth, it was like I was awake for the first time.
Makes all the sense in the world to me, because a lot of like steak pan reductions or whatever employ balsamic vinegar. That's what you deglaze the pan with or whatever. So that's already a flavor profile that's established. And also beef with horseradish, horsey sauce, also an established flavor profile. So that totally checks out to me.
Okay, good.
Because Amber two together with a piece of steak.
Amber thought I was crazy, but now I do when I'm about to have the steak. And usually, obviously, I'm one of those people that's like, look, if the steak's good enough, I don't need sauce. But this shit's so good that I have to run it through it a little bit. I just go ahead and make that. I get my horseradish, my mayonnaise, and make the horsey sauce. Then put the balsamic in there. It makes this like brown kind of paste. And bro. Unbelievable. Everybody needs to try it. Now, it will work if you don't have the maple balsamic, but I like the maple because it also gives that beef sort of like, it makes you think of bacon kind of, because the maple, and it's more breakfasty. Unbelievable.
Yeah. You just hit on another sort of fancy / trash topic that I can't remember if we talked about before or not. And it seems like I'm with you on it. This idea that a lot of like purists have in foodies and shit. It's like, if the steak truly hits, right, you don't need any sauce. And it's like,
true.
That is true. But as a fat kid, I also love a hidden sauce so much that I do still want it. Right?
I do. Yeah.
We've sung the praises.
Even if it's just melted butter as a sauce.
Well, I almost wouldn't even count that. I mean, all the hitting steaks that are, cooked in the butter with the fucking herbs infused and garlic and shit. Yeah. But we've sung the praises of St. Elmo's on here in Indianapolis before. And they have an assortment of sauces that you can, when you order a steak, you get your cut, your temp, and they say, do you want to add, one of our house sauces to it?
Right.
And you could pick one, and they definitely know what they're doing. And I do every time, and it fucking smashes. And trust me, you're not going to find much finer cuts of meat than they have there, and it still hits, and they support it. So I think that's, people can be a little too rigid with that particular culinary tradition, I think, for foodies. Like,
I agree.
Good meat don't need a sauce, but sauces, they hit. So why not have one?
Like, my thing is like, the only way I'm going to get mad at you on steak really is if you cook it well done.
Done with ketchup, like that's well done. That ain't what we're talking about.
But even if ketchup is your preferred, like as long as it's not well done. I mean, not me. Right. But the thing that I've done here, this balsamic thing, like it's got a similar, like ketchup is sweet and tart, like it's kind of a similar flavor profile because there's vinegar in ketchup. You know what I mean? So like, I would rather have what I've made because I think it's better. All I'm saying is I understand. I get it. Now I wouldn't do it in front of people like fucking Drew. I've got more class than that. Anyways, Tyra Banks. When I first heard of this hot ice cream.
Oh, thank God. Yeah.
I thought to myself, okay, so milk, or whatever.
Right. So again, it's not hot, it's not spicy ice cream.
No,
they call it ice cream, but it's served hot temperature wise.
Yeah,
then it can't be ice cream.
I know, and this is the thing that makes me so
mad. There's no ice.
There was there
could be cream, I guess, but there's no ice if it's fucking served hot.
Some people, I guess, also were confused and like, hot ice cream, what is that? And I think some people probably thought like, it's got peppercorns in it or chilies or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And these people went, and the consensus was, it's just fucking warm milk. Like, it's just warm milk, right? That's the dumbest. Like, you cannot call that hot ice cream. Like, they have this one restaurant. They're like, we do frozen hot chocolate. I'm like, that's a chocolate milkshake,
right?
Hot chocolate doesn't. It's
got to be hot
chocolate. It tastes like chocolate. A hot chocolate is chocolate that is warm. Hot chocolate itself isn't a flavor. Like if you this happened with the fucking Skittles from years ago. Skittles came out with chocolate Skittles, and I was like kind of excited because the new Skittles ain't put out a new hotness in a while, and they were fine. I mean, they were okay, but like what made me so mad was the flavors. all of them were chocolate, but they were different types of chocolate. And it's like, okay, dark chocolate, sure, white chocolate, okay. But then this other one was it was chocolate pudding, and I'm like, chocolate pudding isn't a flavor. Pudding is a texture. So if you've got a 100%. Skittle that can't have the texture of pudding, and you say it's chocolate pudding, no, it's it's chocolate. Right? It's chocolate is the thing, right? Yeah. Anyways, fucking Tyra Banks has now done that. Where like again, ice cream, the ice does so much of the heavy lifting on that. So it's
cream is a thing. Hot cream, warmed milk. Those are all existing things.
Yeah.
You have to use ice to turn it into ice cream.
Right.
You can't call. So, okay. Is their position that they make ice cream, which hits, and then they melt it and
let it melt,
simmer it, and then serve it? And they argue that somehow changes the way it tastes by making it ice cream before melting and heating it. Like, is that? So, I'm fully convinced that's bullshit, but I'm just wondering, is that how they sleep at night?
Right. But yes,
I try to position it that way.
Basically, this one person says that it was like if you took an already kind of melted Frosty and then put it in the microwave further, right? Which, by the way, a melted Frosty is, I'd rather have the regular Frosty, but like, of course, I'm going to suck it down. But like, yeah, I mean, essentially what's happened here, just like with any of these things, it's a marketing gimmick that will get people talking and then they'll go in. But like, I just don't see how these people ever, and maybe they do know, but it's like, this is the most flash in the pan shit. Like, this has no staying power. Like, I think a lot of people will go, well, it's Tyra Banks, so I'm going to go check it out. And that's different. And fuck, who knows? But then they're going to be like, right, I could just do this with Mayfield at home. Because they're like $10. You know what I mean? For like
the other thing I don't get about that is like, who the fuck goes to Tyra Banks for fat kid shit?
None.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If it was Tyra Banks's new, some kind of like, it's like tofu, but gayer somehow or whatever. Yeah. It's like that would make sense to me.
Where you at on tofu?
I mean, man, I'm not really a fan.
It has to be a specific way. I too, like when it's in the miso soup, just the little cubes where I can kind of trick myself to think it's cheese.
That is because the miso soup to me, I love it has such a great flavor and it hits, but like unreal. you want like something,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not just literally broth.
Little seaweed,
so the little tofu cubes, and the fucking seaweed or whatever else that they put in there, like brings a little something more to the table, which I do appreciate. But really, it just goes back to like, I feel like I bet I knew about tofu before you or most of the people in your town did.
I watched Doug Funny, so I knew about it.
At what age?
I mean, when I was probably 6 or 7, because I asked my mom what it was, because Doug the Beats.
But did you have it though?
No. Didn't have it. No, didn't have it.
Because of Uncle Tim, my gay vegetarian hippie ass uncle, he had to pick. Also, yes, thank you. You want to leave that part of his resume off for everybody. He's a self-declared pig bottom as well. So he's a man of many interests and pursuits. But as a chef who was, like I said, gay hippie vegetarian, he brought tofu to my family or my house in Salina and shit way earlier than nobody knew what the fuck tofu was.
Right.
When Uncle Tim brought there in like fucking 1992 or whatever. And it was one of those things where it's like, and this is how dumb I am and how dumb kids are and how dumb fat kids are in particular. I still remember to this day, the first tofu I ever had, Uncle Tim made this dish. I don't know what else was in it. I was too young, fat, and dumb to know, but he made this dish that he called tiger food. Right, which may be an established thing. I don't know. But the protein in tiger food was tofu, right? And my little fat ass ate it and was like, oh, this is so good. Right. And then he was like, yeah, that's tofu. I was like, what's tofu? And he's like, oh, it's not meat. You use it instead of meat. And I was like, this don't hit.
That
don't,
you know
what I mean? Yeah. Like, even though it had just hit for me, I was like, I eat meat. I want meat, And then, but then even later when I've very much expanded my culinary horizons at this point, and I don't not like tofu, but it just, I mean, dude, I don't know. They're just like cubes of air almost.
Yeah,
Like
I
there's
mean,
not a lot going on. I know you can
no.
sauce them and all that stuff, but it's just like I don't have a problem with them anymore. But they don't
Well,
really hit for me.
I'm on another one of my vegan twice or three times a week kicks, which I love doing. I feel great when I do it, but every single time I think maybe this time tofu will hit for me. And I think, well, you just didn't know how to cook it then. And then I'll go through the whole thing and I'm just like, yeah, no, unless it's a tiny little cube in miso, I don't like it. And I would just rather eat a bunch of yogurt today, you know.
Right. Are we gonna talk about the
Yes.
news?
Yes, the news. That's what I'm getting to right now. We need to take a break.
Very okay. Yes, you're right. Let's take a break. When we come back, some very, very POA news happened just this week.
I tell you what, not just because I'm trying to cut out as much alcohol as possible, but also because I like relaxing in the evening and getting my mind great in a good place. That's why I love our pals over at Soul, because it's not only THC in these things, it's also CBD. And I find that I do better, and everybody's different, but I find that I do better when there's like a good balance of the THC and CBD. And I think the science there is like the CBD is more of like a body thing, which I prefer anyways. But of course, I do like a little bit of the, head situation going on. I personally like the drinks mainly because of what I was saying. I want to stop drinking as much alcohol, and like the ones I get from Soul are a very low dose of THC and stuff, so I can actually have a couple. And y'all know we've talked about it a million times. I've got a very low tolerance, but it's such a nice mellow buzz that I can still have a couple, and I feel like I'm kicking back and having a couple with the boys, but I'm not, right? So I don't have all of the calories. I'm not waking up hungover, and I'm a lot more clear-headed, So I just really enjoy Soul. Their gummies are great. I'm not saying they're not. I'm a drink dude. I like a good cold drink. And another thing too, maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but I don't think so. They don't taste like any other like THC drink that I've had. Like it's actually a drink that I would enjoy that taste even if it didn't have the CBD and the THC in it. And our friends at Soul think that feeling good should be fun and easy, and they specialize in the delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products, which boost your mood, help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. I like all the flavors, but blood orange, I think, is my favorite. They come in 4 different strengths, by the way. So whatever you are, if you've got a high tolerance, get the high test ones. If you're like me, you can get the ones that's just a little bit. Take one, wait an hour, see what's going on. With wellness at the forefront, you can feel good about what you're putting in your body. All of Soul's products are made from organically farmed, USA grown hemp, and they're vegan, gluten-free, and low in sugar. Right. And if you like their out of office gummies, like I said, their out of office beverage, it's a refreshing alcohol-free alternative for perfect sipping, especially right now around the campfire, watching football and stuff. Do it, man. I'm telling you. But they've also got capsules and stuff to help with your sleep and your stress, pain, and focus, bloating, all that. Check, 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 check. I need it all. Bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering our audience 30% off your entire order. Go to getsoul.com and use the code POA. That's getsoul.com, promo code POA for 30% off. I tell you what. Here's something else you need to do. Enter the room dick first, baby, because Blue Chew ain't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like someone gave you Weenie down there a pep talk. Like, hey, let's go, Weenie. You won't bust through that wall like the GD Kool-Aid man? My Weenie sure does. I've been using Blue Chew for about 8 years now. And again, ain't nothing wrong with my Weenie. Not a lot right with it, if you ask some people, but it's just the extra confidence I get. And that's the thing, because it's not just about, confidence is the thing that women notice most, like if you're going on a first date or whatever. But that doesn't mean that, if you're married, you shouldn't be giving your wife the confidence, because sometimes you just get your head screwed up. You got work, maybe you're a Raiders fan and that's got you all screwed up. And sometimes your brain, you know what I mean, Trae? Your brain's not sending the signal, like your brain don't hit. So it's telling your weenie, why would you hit? Right. But with Blue Chew, you give your brain the day off and your weenie will do the thing. It's about legacy, y'all. Give a group chat something to talk about, and we got a special deal for our listeners. Oh, by the way, I must add, it comes in a discreet package. That's a huge thing. Like, nobody has to know what's going on. You ain't got to go to the pharmacy. Just chew it and do it. We got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. That's not a typo. It is free. Just use promo code POA at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. And big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Skew. And Trae,
get you a new dick.
Yeah, you should. Done with this one.
All right, y'all. We got another sup sponsor this week. This one's a little different. New to me. We're talking about Bubs Naturals, right?
That's right.
And I knew a redneck woman named Bubs. She had some big old naturals too, but this is a different type of thing.
You had an Uncle Bubs, didn't you?
I had Uncle Bubbles. Yeah. He was not exactly all natural. He was mostly
no collagen.
Chemically based. Uncle Bubbles was, especially by the end. I don't know if this is going to hit for Bubs Naturals or not, what I'm doing here, but they got great products over there at Bubs Naturals. This is their unflavored collagen peptides. You can tell that hits just by the way the word sounded. And that you read that and you're like, that's fancy. That's science stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be straight. When I first got this, I was like, I've heard of each of those things, but I don't really know what that is or what it does. But I love me some sups. As I've said before, I love supplements. So I started looking into it. And it said, collagen peptides, this supports your joints, hair, skin, and nails, but there's an added benefit to it. I hope it's all right if I say this, because this is what I noticed. If you look on the nutrition information here, there's actually, not to throw shade on any of my protein suppliers that I use, who will remain unnamed here, but this Bubs collagen peptides actually has more protein per calorie than the straight up protein supplements that I use. And and that's just like an ancillary they don't even,
I was about to say,
that ain't even like the thing that they, tell you about. It's just an extra benefit. That's how much this stuff hits. It's also chock full of amino acids, which are great for you as well. Look, me and Cho, we're getting older. Me especially, I'm feeling it. Pushing 40. That's what I'm doing. And it sucks. Everybody, it don't hit. We all know that. One day, my hand just started hurting the other day out of nowhere. Don't know why. I assume it will hurt until the day that I die, probably. But maybe not. Which won't be long. But maybe not if Bubs has anything to say about it, because we all know how it is. You wake up one day with stiff joints. If you still work out, which I do, recovery takes even longer. Cho, your hair starts thinning. Sometimes that's when you're 19. But for other people, it's when, get older. Your nails, if you're a lady or a fella who cares about your nails, they start to break easier. Your skin don't have that effervescent glow to it. Just getting older, just sucks. But that's where Bubs Naturals collagen peptides come in, right? Because your body produces collagen, but it's starting your mid-20s, like literally everything that hits that your body does, it begins to do less of that every year after year. So you produce less collagen every single year from your mid-20s on. And collagen is the protein in your body that holds everything together. It's like the glue of all you got going on there. So Bubs can help you restore your collagen levels closer to what your body naturally had when you were younger and you hit harder. So that means stronger joints, healthier hair and nails, smoother skin, and faster recovery. It's also super easy to use. That's the other thing too. It's unflavored. So I make a concoction after every workout I do. And I just started adding Bubs to what I already dumped in there. Literally no difference. It dissolves smooth.
I put it in a White Claw.
Yeah, you can't tell that there's anything in there, and yet you're getting something into your body that's good for it. Here's the thing that makes Bubs very different, truly different. The brand is a tribute to former Navy SEAL Glenn Bub Doherty, a national hero who gave his life saving Americans in Libya. Glenn's call sign was Bub, and he was the kind of guy who always pushed for self-improvement and helped everyone around him, and that DNA is woven into the Bubs brand. And to honor him, listen up here, Bubs donates 10% of all profits to charity, starting with the Glenn Doherty Memorial Foundation. Bubs is built to the highest standard. There's no junk. There's no sugars, sweeteners, no added fillers. It's third-party tested, NSF certified for sport, which we know hits, Whole30 approved, and sustainably sourced from grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle. It's trusted by over 100,000 customers and was actually named the best collagen of 2024 by health.com. All right. So live better longer. For a limited time only, our listeners are getting 20% off at Bubs Naturals by using the code POA at checkout. Just head to BUBSnaturals.com and use the code POA and you're all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that POA sent you. You get 20% off at Bubs Naturals when you use the code POA at BubsNaturals.com. Bubs, get your shine back. That's what I say.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, by the way, yesterday, they commented on one of my videos, and please understand, this is so rare that I don't think it's ever happened. They said, "You're looking really good, by the way, Corey, just so you know." And I was thinking, I was like, okay, what? And until you were reading this, I was like, oh, I have been, like, maybe there is something to that. Like, I got that collagen glow. Because my wife, she was like, oh, are you just now finding out about collagen? Because apparently women been up on this for a while.
Sure.
But yeah, go get some. It's good stuff.
And we're back. Yeah. Joe, so I think it's going to be funny if you're not even talking about the same thing I am, but I assume you have to be.
There's no way we're not talking about the same thing.
I saw a story earlier this week on Monday, I think, where I was like, oh, we got to talk about that on POA. It's such a POA topic. Happened across the pond. Although, all of Europe counts as across the pond,
I think so, but I think a lot of people would assume you mean Britain.
Britain,
but it's over.
Well, hell, I mean, fucking, Morocco's across the pond. South Africa's across the pond.
Yeah, now I don't like it.
Well, anyway,
across the pond means where there's other whites, but it's not America.
Right. But that would include other places than just England, obviously, like the place we're talking about, which is France, right? Something happened in Frogland in France that's, interesting, to say the least.
I assume you're talking about the Louvre.
The Louvre, yes.
The Louvre. Yeah. So I was down. This is how
actual real deal art heist.
An art heist, dude.
This actual art heist.
I need Steven.
They still haven't caught him right. They got away with it so far.
Per now, at least when I looked it up, no, they've not caught him. But yeah, I need Steven Soderbergh to get on this shit real quick and have Statham and all that lot involved. So yeah, the Louvre, which I think even if you're not someone that's interested in art at all, like you know what that is. Like that's one of the most famous art galleries in the whole world. I mean, I think it's like
right?
It's the. Yeah, I think it's like synonymous. Like to me, all that is just the Louvre and the Louvre adjacent, But yeah, so I was downstairs and I was like getting some stuff together for the show, and Kirby's like, I mean, you're going to talk about the Louvre getting broke into, aren't you? And I was like, when the fuck did that happen? And turns out just being off social media, trying to do that, it really does affect shit that sometimes. So yeah, Sunday, October 19th is like 9:30 a.m. local time, obviously over there, right after the museum opened to the public. So, which is already pretty rare because I feel like they normally try to do these things at night or whatever. Of course, that might be their thought process is like, well, yeah, they expect you to get robbed at night, But the crazy part is, how long do you think it took them to do this?
Oh, I don't know. Normally in movies, they got a window, they got a guy in the van who could knock down the cameras for a set amount of time. And they're like, they got to synchronize their watches. That part's very important. Making sure your watch is the same as everybody else's watch.
Yes.
As far as I understand it, that is key to pulling off the successful.
Do you really even have to? They don't even have to probably do that anymore now because phones are all the same
all
time.
Synchronized. You're right. That's a good point.
Sucks.
But if you're in like cat burglar gear,
you're not looking at your phone.
You're not going to have your phone. You're not pulling your phone out, but you can put a watch on your wrist and still look. But I mean, your point still stands because like Apple watches, I'm assuming I don't have one, but I'm assuming they're all automatically synchronized.
But I would say they wouldn't want to use that because of the tracking chip in them and stuff. They're probably
you're right. Actually, that's I'm sure they're analog up in there.
You have to be. You have to be analog. As much technology as you need to use to perform something like this, you still need to have as many analog components as possible.
That's how dumb I am and how bad at Heist I would be. Is I was just like, you're right. Let's just use our phones. Let's just.
Well, I'm the one that brought it up.
Right. It's like, why wouldn't we just take our phones in there? It's the most obvious answer ever.
Yeah. So no, they were according to
90 seconds.
4 minutes, according to the culture minister, which I guess is a job. He said they were in and out in 4 minutes. But here's the part where I'm like, okay, they must not have gotten a lot of shit, right? Well, apparently, somehow in these 4 minutes, they used a cherry picker to reach the balcony window on it's called the Seine side facade. They had power tools, they had a disc cutter, angle grinder. So, all the stuff that you're thinking of in like Ocean's 11 or whatever, they've got, and I'm sure they had a little Chinese guy in a drum or something. They sawed through the window pane in the glass, and 2 of the thieves scaled the ladder or lift, like sort of, I guess, Mission Impossible style, down on one of them like ropes or whatever, entered the gallery through a window. Then so this is on one side because, the Louvre's fucking huge. I don't know how big because I've never been there, but like obviously it's a big place. They went to the Apollo Gallery, or the Galleria de Apollon. That's where the crown jewels are, the French crown jewels, right?
Yeah.
So
Napoleon, right? Napoleonic crown jewels.
Yeah, the Napoleonic crown jewels. So they smashed 2 display cases, got 8 items out of that, which I'll get to the items here in a minute. Like I said, they got to the crown jewels. Then they left on motorbikes, and it says motorbikes and scooters. I feel like scooter would be an insane getaway car, unless you're trying to. I guess they're trying to blend in.
That's my thought. Yeah, it's kind of smooth if you think about it that way. You're probably not going to think of the guy in the scooter.
Yeah, they dropped a crown outside of the museum because either it was heavy or they were in too big of a hurry, and it was recovered very damaged. So that they evacuate the museum, close the gates. I guess the laser shit went up, and they closed the nearby streets. There's forensic teams all over this. They recovered all those tools like the power saws, walkie-talkies. They had gloves, a can of gasoline. So I don't know if they was planning. I don't know if they was, maybe they were using that to, I guess, put in their power saws. I don't think they were planning on like exploding the place.
Okay. Yeah.
I
was thinking like distraction or something, maybe. Whatever. If alarm went off or some shit, you set off a fire to cover your, but what you said makes way more sense. They're probably just gassing up the saws.
And
wouldn't you think you'd want like electric tools and saws because they're quieter and all that shit?
Yeah, I guess. No one was harmed, by the way. So like nobody got hurt. They didn't do any. There's no violence. I like them. Yeah, I like these guys.
Right.
This one French authority said that they were likely professionals. No shit. What do you mean likely professional? Like, first off, even if they weren't professionals, they now are because they robbed and got money. So like even if this was their professional debut, they're fucking professionals now. And there were apparently security camera gaps where they did it. So they had planned it out to where like, we know where the blind spots are. Now, I'm certain it doesn't say here, but I'm certain that's indicating like at least a bit of an inside job.
You'd think, right? And that's the other thing I was going to ask you. I don't know if you saw this or you're reading about it, because I found out about this because every Monday I do a Patreon video, and I do not just this, but part of what I do is like, I get on Google News or whatever, and like, let's see what's happening right now.
Right.
And I did that Monday, and this was like, at least in America, just being reported. It was like breaking. I was like, holy shit, an art heist. And so I was looking into it. And at that time, they were talking about, the way I read it at least, was that cherry picker and stuff, that there was a existing construction project adjacent to that wing of the Louvre that they used to access the building and break in. And I was wondering if they'd since found out that had been clarified that no, there was no construction project. These guys just brought a cherry picker or had a cherry picker, or there was because my first thing was like, if there was a construction project going on there and they used the cherry picker to get in there, then like, to me, that's clearly where you start. I would think,
of course,
is the construction project, because clearly, even if it's not a Louvre inside job, somebody in that construction crew or the construction company or something had to be, in on it to give them access to it. But that might not even have been what happened. They might have just rented a fucking cherry picker and got a permit for something else and just put it there themselves. I don't know.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, like I don't know, dude. Cause like just with knowing the cherry picker aside, like knowing the blind spots, like I just don't see how You can't just walk into a place and look where the cameras are and go, okay, so this area right here, like you'd have to see, to me, you'd have to also have access to the CC footage, so that you can act, because you can't leave that up to chance.
But based on exactly, I was gonna say based on my Netflix based knowledge or whatever, if your guy in the van is good enough, if your computer guy, you got to have a computer guy. Everybody knows that. If your computer guy is good enough, maybe he can access the CCTV footage without needing an inside person involved. They got into their system and they could access it that way. So that's like a possibility.
Right. But I just want to know, like, how many, this has to be like obviously I don't know how good these people are. And I know technology has made everything easier, but like this would have to take a fucking long time to figure, before you actually go in. But it was worth their fucking time, because here's of the 9 items sold here of stolen. Here they are. So there was a tiara, which was it was covered in sapphires and diamonds, and it was Queen Marie Amelia and also Queen Hortense, who were 2 people I don't think we've talked about on POA, but they were queens over there in France, I guess. Also, it had 212 pearls of various sizes and nearly 2,000 diamonds on this motherfucker. So then there was a necklace, which was from the same sapphire set. So it kind of, they matched, I guess. Then there was one of the earrings from that set, an emerald necklace that belonged to Empress Marie Louise, who she was a lady during the Napoleonic era. And this is, a necklace, I guess, that represents that whole era. A matching pair of emerald earrings from that set, a brooch from the same collection. I don't know and obviously that just means like they were all in one spot and they just, grabbed this shit. A large corsage brooch from a different collection. And then the crown of Empress Eugene, which that's the one that was recovered damaged, which contained 1,300 diamonds, 56 emeralds, and it was the one that was dropped that I actually got. But of the 8 stolen items, it's around 102 million American dollars, which I kind of thought it would be more. But that's fucking shit ton.
Well, here's my immediate question about that.
How do you sell it?
How do you fence it? Because it's like those are such high profile items. I wish I could remember. Is a movie I used to watch when I was a kid that I haven't seen since I was a kid and probably don't even actually hit. But it was like, I don't think it was actually, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, or whatever, the Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that, but it was like in that vein of movie, like that type of movie.
Not Brewster's Million, was it?
No, I'm not saying either of those guys was necessarily even in it. I just mean like it was like a comedic crime movie from like the 80s or something.
Those movies hit.
And at the end of it, what I remember is at the end of it, they end up in the Godfather's house, the like crime lord's house.
Yeah.
And they're like, one of the main characters, Gene Wilder, whoever it was, is like, oh, that's an incredible Picasso replica or whatever of Guernica. And he was like, that's not a replica. It's like, that's the actual, he's like, the one hanging in the Louvre is a replica. Like that's the real thing.
I know this movie.
Right. Do you? Right. Cause I can't remember. All I remember is that one scene,
oh, you know what? No, this is also a subplot to The Accountant, because Ben Affleck he used to get paid by people in art, and someone mentioned to him, he's like, no, actually we swapped it out, and that's the rep. So that's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
The Accountant.
So, but either way, you'd almost think it would have to be something like that, like some crime lord, big Russian gun runner or something like that, who also cares about, well, I guess this ain't even really art. This is precious jewels. But like,
but again,
what do you know what I mean? Like a lot of times they use the art and shit I don't know. If you're like a crime lord guy, it's just a hidden thing to say that you have. I got Napoleon's crown. But like you have to have access and connections to those types of people, because no regular rich person, I would think, is gonna, want to buy this. It's
rich people like rich people that we've met. Then this is exactly what I brought up to Kirby, because Kirby pointed out, she's like, with this stuff, she's like, how do you go about selling it? Because it's so high profile that they're immediately going to be like, well, this was stolen, and we know because it's all over the news, right? So like, how does something doesn't have value if you can't sell it? Like something's only worth what somebody will pay for.
Somebody will pay you for it. Exactly.
And my only thought is like, I told Kirby, I was like, it has to be for someone whom the showing off of it is nothing to them. It's just being able to have something that hits it for your own self. Like a guy like, I'm not saying it's Elon Musk or Peter Thiel, but people with enough money to where $100 million to them is the same as me buying you a coffee. And I know that sounds insane, but when you have $500 billion, that's true. And it's like, there have to be selling it to someone. And to me, it has to be preordained. They can't just hold on to these and be like, let's set up a meeting. Like, it had to be like, we're going to do this. Are you in? To where it's like somebody that's like, look, I don't give a shit if people know I have them. It'll just hit for me to use Napoleon's crown as a goddamn paperweight. That has to be it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Yeah, because like I said, what are they going to do with it? We talked before about art on the show, and it's like super rich people, they use art as like investment things, basically. Well, yeah, well, criminals use it for money laundering, but like, a lot of rich people, it's another form of like where you got your money at is in art, but you can't do that with Napoleon's stolen fucking jewels. So,
yeah,
but you would think they had to have. I was going to say they had a plan before they even did it, but they also might have been, they might have been hired. They might have been put together with some Middle Eastern warlord who like has a grudge against France or something. And wants to fuck, they puts a team together, go in there. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, it's just why it's one of those things, again, especially because nobody got hurt. I just feel like most people, and I wanted to get to this because one of the articles I read about it, of course, the French official who's whatever in charge of looking into this, or the French justice minister, right, said things. Here's some of the things that he said about this heist. He said, the French people all feel as though they've been robbed.
Yeah,
right?
Boo.
Right. And he's like, I would encourage people to see beyond the sensationalism of the heist and how it was executed and realize there is now a real hole in the cultural heritage and the history of the nation of France. Right. Well, of course, that's what I think. We're both Americans. And I was going to bring up like, because immediately as soon as I heard this and heard they didn't hurt anybody, didn't kill or even hurt anyone, I was like, ooh, this hits good for these guys.
It's jewels.
This is so cool. And and it's like, I don't give a fuck about
if it was the Mona Lisa, like those things, I'm like a person made. Okay, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say, because I don't know, because we ain't French. Based on what that quote I just read to you, it's Napoleon's jewels or whatever. Do you think that's like, because I did think, I was like,
we don't have an equivalent.
We don't, because we never had royalty. In my head, I was like, national treasure.
George Washington's teeth.
But not a hero did it. But like, if like the Declaration of Independence got stolen or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that matters more than jewels.
Any, like sleep. I know, but we really don't have an equivalent, but I'm trying to find an equivalent. Like something that in this country really does mean something to the people of the country. And I don't know if Napoleon's jewels do or not, but if they do, then, whatever, maybe. But
I'm only looking at it from like, okay, the Mona Lisa don't have nothing to do with America, and like Van Gogh's paintings don't have anything to do with America. And again, I'm not saying I'd lose sleep, but I wouldn't be as in favor of the people that stole it, because to me, it's like, again, there's a huge difference in something that was mined using slavery and put upon the brow of some monarch piece of shit, and something that an artist made that has there's beauty in it and cultural significance, which again, I know you're saying this has cultural significance to them, but like,
no, I don't know if it does. I'm saying if it does,
but I'm saying like, I wouldn't be excited and like, if it was these cool paintings that we all know were stolen. I bet, man, that sucks. Fucking that stuff's supposed to be for everybody. You know what I mean? But like, I don't fuck a jewel. I mean, because shit, like, I guess it's like, well, you could just have a copy of the Mona Lisa. What's the difference? And it's like, I don't know. It's different. Well, I tell you why it's different. Those jewels can last forever, but the Mona Lisa, that's a fleeting thing. You got to keep that under pressurization, and that's an actual relic of a time. These jewels, like, yes, the queen had them, but those jewels are billions of fucking years old. You know what I mean? Like, the Mona Lisa was created here at this time, and it's still fucking here, and that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I don't even know how modern day French people even feel about just like Napoleon, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying it's like, because we don't have, you said George Washington's teeth, and obviously nobody in this country gives a fuck about George Washington's like teeth, but if he had if he had something like that, I feel like there's got to be something that we're not thinking of.
If the boat he crossed the Delaware in still a thing? Is it like petrified when we have it?
I don't know, but it's like very American. It's like, this is George Washington's gun that he actually used or whatever the whole time. And if that existed and everyone knew that it existed, and when you went to Washington D.C. you saw that or whatever, and then that got stolen, I think that there'd be a lot of Americans who are like, this is fucked up. But I mean, but I don't know if these things are like that for every regular day-to-day French people. Obviously, I don't know. So
because with George Washington's guns, or like hypothetically Benjamin Franklin's first pair of bifocals, or like if you had the kite he used to whatever, like those things they don't represent royal, like, because I feel like a lot of people you're like, dude, fuck the royals and fuck all this like glamorous shit, but those things aren't glamorous. Their value is sentimental. You know what I mean? It's purely sentimental. And like yeah, I think the only thing we have is like the Declaration of Independence, and like, even though I'm not like, I consider myself a patriot. I love my country, but how that word gets thrown around, I don't feel like I'm that type of patriot. But like, even me, who's like, I guess a commie, I'd still be like, man, damn, that thing hits. Like, that's no, it wouldn't hit for me at all. I was like, this country is, love us or hate us, we wild in that we're an ongoing experiment, and that's the piece of paper that started this fucking crazy game of Monopoly. It's really cool. Like, it's a cool fucking thing. And I think,
100%. And obviously, Napoleon is, of course, hugely globally famous.
Oh, so dude,
But like I said, I just don't know how, if you French right now today, I don't even know how they feel about Napoleon. Like,
I don't either.
Right. Is he like, does he hit for them? I literally don't even know.
Opinions must be divided. Like,
I feel like royalist in Britain versus, people that ain't stupid. But like,
I feel like, unless you are like a huge monarchist British loyalist, I feel like George Washington's not that polarizing of a dude. You know what I mean? I think a lot, especially because most of the world hates England. I bet he might. They're like, hey, say what you will. That guy fucking stuck it to him, But Napoleon, I have to feel like, is a huge polarizing guy, because like what he's known for is conquering and being a dick and being short, even though he wasn't. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they feel about him.
But again, as we've talked about that before, like, the whole conquering thing is weird, because some people that did a lot of conquering, it's like, it seems like the general sort of, take on them is like, yeah, look, of course you ought not do that, but
he did.
Was kind of sweet though, right?
He's not. He's not Alexander the Bad. He's Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great, and it's also, a lot of people probably immediately jump to like, yeah, fucking white guys or whatever. But like, Genghis Khan gets that treatment. I feel like,
and there's restaurants named after him.
Right, and I could be wrong, but I didn't grow up with any kind of real animosity towards Napoleon or whatever. But
no, me either. Except he was French.
Right, exactly. But I'm not Europe. Yeah, maybe in Europe. I don't know. From my stupid, ignorant American perspective, I feel like Napoleon is also kind of one of those things like, boy, that motherfucker was wild, wasn't he? Damn.
Yeah.
He kind of had it like that. And that's pretty much what people think about him. And then other times it's like, you're a warlord and a despot and everybody hates you. And it's
much. And also something that Americans, I don't think, can conceive, because again, how young we are. Like, we don't, like, yeah, okay, there's people where me and you are from that don't really care for Mexico. And now there's people that like, oh, Canada, fuck them. But like, man, we don't know shit about hating our neighboring countries like they do over there. You know what I mean? Like, we do not. Nope. The most racist dude I know does not hate Mexico the same way some people in France hate England, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, because that's generational fucking hate,
Yeah. They fought more wars just against each other than America has fought wars ever.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So like, we can't conceive that. So like, again, that being said, I don't know how Napoleon's viewed in France. I would say in England, they probably fucking hate him, because they a lot of times hate French people, but I don't fucking know.
Right. Yeah, I don't either. I kind of want to
know. I bet Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin hit for them, or at least they hit for France back in the day.
Right. But yeah, everything you just said is like true, but doubly so. And like you get over there in like the Balkans and like the eastern part of Europe and stuff, and it's like shit that we as Americans don't know anything about. But it's like, dude, they got wild fucking shit. Blood feuds spanning fucking centuries, dog. Yeah, it's like there's genocides involved. There's all kinds of fucking wild shit went down over there that, like, you know, you're an American school kid, like you literally don't learn nothing about none of that. No. I mean, like even when we were like kids, right? Like little kids too, but like all that shit in like this, I'm about to show how dumb I am right now about it, but all that shit in like Bosnia and all that was like going on, right? Like when we were, and it's like, I don't remember really being informed about any of that. That might be a little unfair because it's like that was literally happening as I was a small child. So if I'd been old enough to watch the news, maybe I would have known. And it was too recent.
Well, I knew about the Gulf War
into history books. Right, you're right. No, you're right.
I knew about that when that was going on. I was a baby.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Granted, that was
I knew the Bosnia thing was happening, but like I didn't, and I still kind of don't really know anything about it.
Like, we only really knew about like the ones that made American TV, which is like Vietnam was its own series that we and also the Gulf War was like we were seeing this. I don't think it's necessarily the same way my dad was seeing Vietnam when he was a kid, but like we would like at dinner, like they'd turn on the TV and they'd just be showing you the motherfucking Gulf War, and like dude, like we're so insulated on like we know. Hell, most people here don't know enough American history, but if they know any history, that's basically all they know. Whereas like over there and basically anywhere else in the world, the Battle of Hastings is one of the most famous battles that's ever fucking happened. It's insanely popular. I wouldn't have really, I may have heard about it in my life, but I wouldn't have known as much about it as I do if we hadn't just done this show. And again, like that battle is like as popular to the rest of the world as like any of our fucking battles
Battle of Hastings, that's 1066, right? Norman Conquest. So like the battle itself specifically, no, I don't really know anything about, but just pretty much what I just said, that, William the Conqueror came over in 1066, the Norman invasion and all that. Like, shout out to Miss White at Clay County High School, because we did learn all that. It's just, I'd forgotten a lot of it. But you talking about shit over there in like Eastern Europe and stuff? No.
No. I say like maybe we learned it and I didn't retain it, but like I actually like history. Even though I was a bad student, I have always been about that life in history. And like my Georgia history teacher was so good that I guarantee you I could make 100 on any fucking Georgia history quiz if I was given to it now. But
someone on our history 8 years ago asked the question, how is Napoleon viewed in Europe today? And these are just answers from actual Europeans. German here. As far as I remember, we were taught who he was and what he did. Nothing about him being either good or evil, just a neutral view on what he accomplished. Then this person says, Norway, I'm Norwegian. Exact same for us. This person says, I'm Italian. He was neither foe nor hero. We were just taught about him. Scotsman. We were given a surprisingly neutral view of him with emphasis on his military genius and why he was so far ahead of his time. So, like, it seems like it seems like there's not a lot of like resentment or hatred or whatever for Napoleon over there. But I've seen people say, in France, he's a national hero, right? But again, I don't know if it's like a French papal thing only.
Yeah, right. Like but Trump is that to a lot of people here,
right? But if he is legit, like kind of a George Washington-esque thing in France, then I could buy that average everyday French citizens are like, this is fucked up that these guys
right. Yeah, no, you're right.
So
no, you're right. I guess I didn't think about it that way because I don't know, just because they was his bitches, Jules. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so, and I'm sorry for saying that, ladies. I was just kidding, but I'm not. They were hers, but she's obviously a one. You can say that about queens. I'm sure she was a bitch. You know, they were her jewels. And again, I really do think I'm just showing my ignorance here because it's like we really as Americans just can't fathom, like we have no comp, period, at all for that shit. Like me and you just had to make shit up that we don't even know exists. Like, I don't know. There might be a George Washington gun, and maybe I saw it at the Smithsonian, but you know.
But what's weird about that, man, is that like
I have seen his teeth.
They were contemporaries.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Napoleon came. Napoleon was actually a little after. But what I'm saying, when Napoleon was really doing his Napoleon shit, like we was here.
Yeah.
Like we were here being America.
Yeah, we were.
You know, but we were real big on that. You know, I don't know if people are aware of this still today, but we were real big on that not having a king thing. You might say that our whole thing was like no kings was sort of our thing. And I don't know how people feel about that today, but it was a big thing at the time in America. And so I'm saying, whereas he was like an emperor, like while we were over here being like, we don't do emperors, he was like, no, I'm an emperor. So because of that, he had crown jewels and all that shit that George Washington would have never had. But they were around the same time, you know, roughly.
Our boy Aaron Burr tried to bring it back, you know, emperors, stuff like that. Remember, he tried to take over Louisiana and Mexico and be the emperor and like secede and be his own thing.
Well,
that'd have been wild.
Shoot your shot, buddy.
I mean, yeah, everybody was doing it, kinda.
Right.
You know,
might as well get in on it. All right, listen, I know it's an abrupt end, but I have to go like very soon because I have another thing.
Well,
sorry, everybody.
No, you're fine. And that's
okay.
that
a little earlier.
No, that's okay. Next week, I have a ton. I won't get into them now because some of them are long. I can't believe that people wrote in to puttingonairs@gmail.com. Very long emails. But I say that we have some really great ones that I'll save for next week. We'll carve out a little bit more time to do airmail. And you can send those to us at puttingonairs@gmail.com. We would also ask you, please, to listen to all the other podcasts in the Skewniverse. Weekly Skews, Gravy Baby, Well Read. Join me. Hey, I talked about this on Well Read. I got let go from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, but immediately hopped back on the horse and started going back to my Substack, which you can find at CoreyWritesForYou.com. Just put up a new column called The Loss of Surprise that I think is very good. There's the video and the text version of it. So check all that out and get a cameo from me on the Cameo. Don't go to the app. Use the website because the app charges you too much money. But it's holiday time, so the Buttercream Dream always comes back out. Do all that and go see Trae on the road where are you going to be?
A bunch of places coming up: Milwaukee, Madison, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Largo, and Los Angeles, Fort Wayne, Indiana at the end of this year, Nashville at Zany's with Corey and Drew right before Christmas, like every year, and then a bunch of other places in 2026. They are all at TraeCrowder.com. So go check them out and come see me, please.
Do all that and stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew.
You. Skew. Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs.